So, what do you think was the worship theme for this morning? Sorry? The Lord is my shepherd. Fantastic. So, let's turn to Psalm 23. And this is a very familiar psalm. Most of us know, right? And we will read all the 6 verses. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you're with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever. A very familiar psalm, and all of us are probably one of the first psalms we would have learned by heart. Now let's look at two characters here, right? One, the shepherd. So you have a shepherd and you have the sheep. And here, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. So now, when you look at a sheep and there is a shepherd, what would the sheep be thinking? The sheep implicitly trust this master, the shepherd, right? Wherever the shepherd goes, where they just follow him blindly. And they implicitly trust the shepherd to say that this shepherd is going to give the sheep good green pastures and cool waters. So far, so good. Now, would that sheep think about all of the other things? Like, even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil. The sheep also have some enemies, that you prepare a table in the presence of my enemies, and surely goodness and love shall follow me all the days of my life. No sheep will keep thinking this, right? Or do you have any sheep which can think like that? So this is a different kind of sheep it is written for. This sheep is us, the human sheep. We are the ones who have all these fears and these problems. If you're truly like a sheep, just blindly following Christ as the shepherd, the great shepherd, here just imagine a normal human shepherd and a normal sheep. Brilliant relationship, blindly trust the shepherd, and their life is chill. Morning they'll wake up, the shepherd will feed them, they'll drink water, they're in the shade, they'll come back in the evening, they will sleep, the shepherd will take care of it, and they have no worries. Now we have Christ as our shepherd, but we don't seem to have any of this. Morning we wake up, we are worried. Afternoon we go, we get anxious. By evening you're a full depressed soul. By night you're a disaster. And then you look at this verse and you say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. So the key to unlocking how the shepherd can be your true shepherd is, this psalm you should read it in the reverse order. So now first go to the last verse and you say, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So when you dwell in the house of the Lord forever, what will happen? Surely goodness and love will follow you all the days of your life. And then your head is anointed with oil, and your cup is overflowing, and you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and there is God's rod and God's staff which is comforting me. When all of this happen, right, you have absolutely no fear of what? Evil. And then you will say, Gadandakara Mullalo. Even in the deepest valley, if I go through the valley of death, you say, I fear no evil. And then you will say, because of God's name, for his name's sake, he will lead me in the paths of righteousness. He refreshes my soul, and then he leads you beside the still waters. He makes you lie down in green pastures. And then, what do you say? The Lord is my shepherd. The problem is, all of us think the rest of the 5 verses automatically happen when you say, the Lord is my shepherd. In fact, it is the other way around, right? First, learn to dwell in the house of the God. And then you will see all of these following in your life. And then you will say, yes, this is my shepherd. Now, if God is truly your shepherd, right? None of these should really worry you. You can just look at any day and you say, you know what? Oh, today I'm going through a dark valley. I will fear no evil. then remember the shepherd. Because the shepherd can bring you out of the dark valley. No? If you think you're surrounded by great enemies, this is the shepherd who will come and he will protect you with his rod and his staff. And he's the one who anoints you with happiness. So this morning I would encourage, think of the shepherd. Think of all the circumstances which would have gone in your life. And each of us would have gone through different parts of it. I hope nobody went through all six. Then if you went through all six, then you have to take the entire time and worship the entire time. So if you have gone through at least one part of this, experience one part of the shepherd in your life, this morning I encourage, stand up, worship God, and say, thank you God for being this great shepherd. Thank you God for being this assurance. Thank you God for delivering me from my fears, my anxieties, and my evil. Thank you God for providing me water and pasture every day, which we take for granted. And surely goodness and love will follow all the days of my life. And then you will rejoice. And this eternal hope where you will say, right, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So I encourage each one of you, take time, stand, loudly worship God as a couple, as a family, as children. Just stand up and praise our God.